anyone is welcome to come and watch the film. Cool. Literally because there's way too many drugs on the poster. Doesn't make it seem like a nice place to come to if you see a poster like that. But that's great. I think that's, for this sort of film, it's perfect. I hope everyone bans the poster. Oh, I'm going to move the table in. I remember years ago that film.
Big Burger Bar. There's actually a remix coming out which uses some stuff that Matt's done, which apparently could be really big on music.
Oh, nice.
Over the next couple of months. I think facing screen, don't you? So it could be a little bit like very old cinema.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, yeah, hi. Left hand shake. Yeah, I play the director of the mockumentary, and he's a bit of a twat. That's my favourite thing to play, to be honest. And yeah, I guess you just have to see for yourselves. Tell me what you think.
Well, this is the blue tank I've got. I don't think it's going to go down. Yeah? Yeah, you want to grab it quick,
Yeah, that's right.
First of all, I'm Ross, and I play, I play an ecstasy dealer. He's a very contradictory character, so he's not very elusive, but he's obvious. He's very, very, very backwards as well as being forward. He's eccentric. He's constantly on a buzz, as if he's constantly like on drugs or constantly listening to something. But at the same time, he respects everyone in the room at the same time as he's very vicious against everyone in the room. It's a mental character piece for me, at least. At the same time as it is really funny, because it is a black comedy in my eyes, at least. It is sort of, I got intimidated by watching it. I was like, oh god. And obviously it's a continuous shot. I think it's about 2 hours long or so. It's one shot from two cameras, so obviously it jumps between the two. And oh god, I just remember the rehearsals for it was mental. Like, we obviously talked about it, went through it and all that. There wasn't much of a script. You kind of got the skeleton of what you meant to do for the scene, and then just stay in character. You can't go wrong because there's no real script. So what I did is I had about like half an hour before I knew they were going to reach my house. And so I was just like going, oh, shit, what the fuck? What should I say? What should I do? What should I do? And then just like literally, like, next thing I was like, knock, knock. I was like, okay. Come down, go, and you just go into character and you're out there. It's a fun experience, man. But it's been like 2 years since we filmed it almost.
I got involved with the festival, which has been an absolute joy to work on. We did the short film screening on Monday, where we had 259 entrants from around the world, which was a lot of films to watch. But that went so well, and then we discussed having the drug tours as part of it. At one point it was talked about being in the Guild Hall, but that was never going to happen. That would have been mad. And yeah, it's been good to be involved with it. It's been cool. An hour 50. So it's full-on feature length. Well, we met up with the actors, and then we discussed it. We discussed the plot points of everything, and then we just sort of, they weren't allowed to stay out of character. They had to stay in character. The police turned up. They couldn't do anything. They just had to stay in character. There is one bit with the police.
My character is a little bit of a dick. He sort of, originally, I think you sort of don't like him, but as the story goes on and continues through, you start to really empathise for him, and I don't know, the character development on both parts of my character and Jackson's character is very, very different, because my character's been a little bit misled. He sort of, he becomes likeable. You feel sorry for him. He's kind of like the producer. He's the one that funds the project. So the whole thesis of it is Jackson's character as a director. He comes to my character and asks my character to narrate this, and it's, the whole thesis of it is meant to be that we're exposing the underworld of drugs and drug taking, but it turns out that it's something a bit more sinister. But beforehand, like, I got a bit of prep. It was all improv. Whenever you've got two separate cameras on, you're rolling consistently. You're trying to think on your toes all the time. You kind of, if you've got one camera on, you can kind of turn the other way and you get away from it. Whereas this instance, you turn the other way, there's another camera on. I know this was the last thing I filmed, and it would be 2 years next month. So look out for me. I'll be back.
Hi, my name is Paul. I've been doing the sound for the Trash Arts recent productions, including Evil and Drug Tours, both of their feature-length films recently. I knew Sam from gigging, so decided to work on some of his films. He was completely up for it, didn't have a sound guy before really. So although it's quite interesting doing the work, you know, it's not the usual stuff I'm used to working with, and the films are quite controversial as well. But the biggest challenge so far has been the fact that everything's been recorded on set in room, and that gives, if you record it in a room, you get the whole room noise, you get the reverb of the room, but you can't get rid of all this noise. It's the biggest challenge so far, trying to get it sounding clean. There's a scene in this film here which I'm not happy with at all, but I can't do anything about it because of the nature of the room and how noisy it was, you know. So most of it at the moment has just been syncing and trying to improve the quality. So reducing background noise, trying to make sure the vocals are clear, everything's being said is clear. Like I said, there's not an awful lot you can do to the sound as it is. The main thing has been getting all the levels equal, making sure the whole film is even and intact. Syncing up music, finding some music tracks which would be good to use. I'm doing a bit of composing for some shorts as well, so not on these two, not on the feature length, but whatever needs doing really, you know. So whatever needs doing, there's sound in film is a massive thing, and being the only person like working on it is a bit of a challenge, because usually there's a whole team. People who do music, people who do sound, people who do Foley. It's doing something that's raw and it's got his passion behind it, you can see that. It's great. Alternative, is that the word? You know, they're quite controversial, some of the topics. Well, I know he's got Evil and the Drug Tours. There's a couple of shorts. There's a Promises short, which I didn't work on that one. But there's a short called Perfectly Human, which I'm composing the music for. That's coming out soon. But I know that he's working on a lot of shorts at the moment. Not so much fault. I'm really impressed with the actual level of cinematography.
This is pretty much finalised piece. It took us 2 years to get this done, even though we shot it over 2 hours. So yeah, welcome to the judgments. Let's make this.
Rock and roll. Spin up.
Action. It's all bullshit. They lie to you, these documentaries. They don't tell you the truth about what they're documenting. They don't give you the reality of what it is that they are looking at. I want to do something different from that. I want to take you on a journey. I'm going to make you experience what it is to take drugs. We're going to go around all the different types. We're going to see where it takes us.
Life's not like that at all.
Is that allowed?
Sam, how'd you go?
I don't know. I don't know how people took to it. I hope people liked it. Everyone seemed to be laughing and having a good time, but everyone also did leave very quickly, so I don't know. I don't know. That's the reason why we had two cars, simply because we could have that kind of like, 'cause no one knows what anyone's going to say, and it worked really well that Ryan completely was a juxtaposition to what Jackson was doing, and that we obviously there was the bullet points of what they had to do, but it just worked so naturally. So we were going to do a remake of it because certain people want. That's the whole thing. There is no second take. That is the whole thing, and that's why, because like when the sound goes out at the beginning, when Liam goes, "Oh, there's no sound," that's because the sound actually went out, and to plan it to like actually rehearse it more would take away that fluency to it, you know? Yeah, no, I mean, we played around with the drug rules because obviously drugs don't take that quick to kick in, and obviously, you know, but that's it's film, you know, you can do what you want.
I thought it went down really well. Just goes down well, doesn't it? I thought I was pretty happy with that. Sound-wise, I think it was a bit loud, but it's not my fault.
2 fucking years. I've been shooting The Animals, which is a crime drama. I'm not explaining the synopsis because I'm tired. But then I'm also writing the next film for next year, which is a horror film. But yeah, now for the drug tours, it's about sending to festivals and seeing what reception we get.
Watch no bend that.
The
Have you seen the videos on YouTube? Your iPhone bending. Then he bends
Nice
your
little
iPhone.
advert for Apple. Well,
Just
Yeah,
like,
I got an interview for them next week.
Keep it in my
Really?
pocket.
and you're not going.
Yeah.
doing a documentary on portrait filmmakers.
All right.
And you throw in an iPhone advert. Bloody iPhone.